Hello, everybody. It's Mrs. Pound, and I'm back with more for chapter 3.1 on solutions. We're in the second section, about types of solutions. So, our objectives today are to compare types of solutions, explain how soap dissolves in both water and oil, and distinguish between water soluble and fat soluble vitamins. So the first solution I want to talk about is a gaseous solution. And just looking at the name, you can see gas. So this is a solution in which two or more gases are mixed together evenly. And an example would be air. That's why I have the balloons in the background. The air around us is a mixture of oxygen and carbon dioxide and nitrogen and other gases. There are also liquid solutions. This is a solution in which a solid, gas, or other liquid is dissolved in a liquid solvent. And so some examples are lemonade and soda. Now, if we take a look at these, in lemonade, there is water, there is sugar usually, maybe lemon juice. So you have some solids and liquids mixed in the liquid solution. And in soda, you have gas in there. That's what makes it bubbly. There are also aqueous solutions, and I have AQ in parentheses because that is the abbreviation for an aqueous solution. This is a solution in which water is the solvent. So an example would be salt water, and I have in the background a picture of the ocean to remind you of that. Water also tends to be called the universal solvent because it dissolves so many things, okay? There are a lot of aqueous solutions out there. Remember, water is also polar, so it's going to dissolve other substances, molecules that are polar. A water-soluble solid is exactly what it sounds like. It's a solid that can be dissolved in water to form an aqueous solution. Some examples are salt and sugar, which you're very familiar with. I'm sure you've all made salt water and you've all added sugar to water in some form, maybe to make Kool-Aid or lemonade or something like that. Now, let's say you have a solution of two liquids. So you have a liquid solution, but they're both liquids. So how do you determine which is the solute and which is the solvent? The rule is the substance with the greater volume in the solution is the solvent. So for example, rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol is 70% alcohol and 30% water. That's why I have this picture back here with the big 70% on it with some hand sanitizer. Because there is more alcohol than there is water, the solvent is the alcohol and the solute is the water, which seems kind of backwards because we're used to water being the solvent most of the time. But in this case, the larger amount is the alcohol, so it is considered to be the solvent. So let's talk about soap molecules. Why do they dissolve in water and in oil? Which is a really handy thing. We use this all the time to wash our hands and get oily things off of our hands that water will not take off, or off of dishes and things like that. Soap molecules have a polar and a nonpolar end. And remember, polar, like dissolves like. So the polar end dissolves in water and the nonpolar end dissolves in the oil. And back here you can see water and there's oil globules in the water. So a soap molecule would attach one part of it to the oil, one part of it to the water, and that allows the fat, the oil, to dissolve in the water. And this is why Dawn dish soap is used to clean waterfowl covered in oil. This is a pretty famous thing for Dawn dish soap, that when there are oil spills, it is commonly used to clean up the waterfowl. Now let's talk about vitamins. Vitamins come in two varieties. There are fat-soluble vitamins and there are water-soluble vitamins. And this is an important thing to know because it can affect your health if you're taking supplements. Fat-soluble vitamins are stored in the body and can become toxic if high quantities are consumed. And fat-soluble vitamins, some examples are vitamins A, D, E, and K. So these are vitamins that you really want to be careful about the amount that you take. You cannot take huge amounts of these because, like many substances, too much can actually be bad for you. Okay, so you have to be careful of how much of these vitamins you actually consume. And I have some pills in the background, some supplements that are kind of oily looking to remind you that those are fat soluble. The other type of vitamin is a water-soluble vitamin. These are not stored. These are flushed out of the body if too much is consumed. So these will come out in your urine. And some examples are vitamins B and C. You can take all the vitamin C you want, and it will not affect you because your body is constantly getting rid of it, unlike the fat-soluble vitamins that your body stores. And another type of solution I want to talk about, which we don't usually think of as a solution, is an alloy. This is a solution in which a metal is the solvent. And so there are actually solid solutions. And an example is stainless steel. So any metal alloy, something like brass, bronze, all of those, they are actually solutions. They are solid solutions. Even my rings are jewelry. My rings are gold, but they are not solid gold. They are actually alloys. The reason we make alloys is because it actually changes the properties of the metals that are alloyed together. And this is generally a good thing, or we wouldn't do it. It tends to strengthen the metals a lot of times. It also might make them so that they don't tarnish and things like that. So it usually, by making a mixture of metals, we make a product that has qualities that are good from the metals that are involved, from both of the mixtures of the metals, and even better, they're just better together. They just have better qualities that we can do more with. Iron mixed with other metals to make steel just tends not to be as brittle and does not corrode, does not rust as much or as quickly. So that is a good thing. So our objectives today were to compare some types of solutions, explain how soap dissolves in both water and oil, in case you were wondering about that. Why do we use soap, right? And distinguish between water-soluble and fat-soluble vitamins. So don't forget your 5 questions, and I will be back with another video.